Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Full Quota Podcast. My name is Mpho and I've got Tim Delace here with me. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, but I'm doing all right despite the last loss. All good, good spirits, all around, really.
We're going to talk about that loss, but remember, we're a South African cricket podcast. We showcase all things South African cricket, from the Proteas, men and women, all the way down to the domestic teams on both men's and women's sides. And you can find us at Full Quota Pod on X. And also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Full Quota Podcast. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And finally, if you want to continue to support us, we do this for love of cricket alone. We don't have a sponsor. And, if you would like to support us and our efforts in growing this podcast, please do go to buymeacoffee.com/Full Quota Podcast. Thank you to all the people who have donated, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate any and every contribution. Also, you can email us with all your comments, questions at sacricketpod@gmail.com. We've received a few emails, so thank you for that, as we're trying to rebrand and trying to do that, and that's going to come soon. It's coming thick and fast, actually. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what our name is. I don't even know what our name is. Actually, I do. Don't worry. But anyway, please do contact us on there. The main things today, it's going to be a quick pod. The main things today is what's happening in Australia. The decider happened, South Africa lost, and then we're moving out into the ODIs, which presents its own problems as we try and build towards 2027, the World Cup in South Africa in 2027. CSA is also going to announce a local organizing committee. And so that's going to be an interesting one there, and find out who's going to be leading the efforts. But on top of that, we need to also sort out the team, who's going to be representing us at the World Cup. And so there's a lot of people. They want youngsters, they want the old guys to stay. There's lots of things. We're going to talk about that now. But before we do it, Tim, that loss on Saturday, I always knew 172 wasn't enough. It never is enough, especially in Australia. And with their batting firepower, we learned a very harsh lesson in the fact that, we still need to keep being aggressive and going for it, right? And Shukri spoke about how he wants the guys like Stubbs, Markram, who have been traditional T20 ODI guys and Test guys, and have been very conservative because of the way we play in South African cricket, to come out and show off. And that obviously didn't happen in this tour. The senior players didn't actually put their hands up, but the youngsters did, right? But in that game, 172 wasn't enough. And I look at the batting, and it was largely it. The bowling did try bring it back. Corbin really did try bring it back in. Kagiso and the guys did really well, but 172 was never enough. But we're also going to talk about Shukri's comments because they're very interesting. But what did you make of that loss?
Yeah, look, in the manner that it happened, obviously I was in the moment absolutely heartbroken. It's never nice to lose when you get so close. But you're absolutely right. We never really had any right in winning that and winning the series. If we look at it as a whole, we do a proper debrief. We were a batter short throughout the series. We were a player short throughout that series. We were relying on one or two people to win us the games, a Rabada or a Breva Special to win us games rather than a team effort. So lots of positives to take out, particularly, as you rightly point out, Brevas and other people. Lots of positives. Good death bowling from Corbin. Corbin really, every time he puts on a Proteas shirt, he performs. When the game looked dead and buried, he got us back into that game, giving us 10 to defend. Lots of positives. Not massively concerned that we lost the series. It's like a It's like a scratch that you've got on your body that you can't get rid of. It's an irritant, but no more than that.
Look, it is irritating. We want to win most of the games, and fundamentally, we also want to put our best foot forward, right? And if you think about it, you've got 14, however many more T20s left in the teens before the World Cup, and you kind of want to get to. And that's the message that Shukri was saying, that it's a long. This is part of a longer plan. Also, you got the players who were just coming off of a break after the World Test Championship. And so you also had to ease them into all of this and get them to do it. The question, obviously, England's going to be the litmus test in terms of those senior players as to whether they will step up. A Stubbs, a Markram, Rassie, if he's still there, because he now knows the type of cricket we need to play. Rickleton as well, to kind of, let us know that, what we saw in Australia was an anomaly, and then they are the players that they are. The reason why they're in the team is because they're talented and they have the ability to do what is required of them by Shukri and the team. And we can see that largely because of the way Devo Brevis has been playing. He has been playing cricket. He didn't have a break, and you can see how well he's played. So the question is, when they fly to England, will we get the same batting, or will it be an improvement? And I expect an improvement. And I think after England, if there is no improvement, then we need to figure it out. But I do agree with you. Shukri also mentioned in the press conference that he wants to play with 6 batters. He thinks he doesn't want to have too many all-rounders. He wants to have 6 batters in there. And then your 7, 8, and potentially 9 are guys who are able to bat, but need to give you something with the ball. He's not willing to give up anything with the ball at the altar of trying to get more runs. He believes that if you can win these games, you're going to win them with your bowling. And I think he also saw, and maybe my question to you, Tim, is maybe the balance was a little bit off because we were missing a batter who was capable of batting in the top 6 and batting at a high strike rate that is required for a number 6. Because he mentioned that a number 8 only faces 9 balls in a T20, right? Are you going to plan for a number 8, or are you just going to get a bowler in there who can, take more wickets? And so that was the thoughts. But what did you make of that?
Yeah, I disagree. I get where he's coming from. This is why we saw Cinnamon Muthusamy play as often as we did. But I disagree with him. Yes, okay, you're in a T20, you need to have 7 batsmen. I really do think you've got to have 7 batsmen. If for example, your number 7 bowls like Markram, to me that's fine. That's fine. I don't want number 7 to be a Saran Muthusamy. That's my question. That's my concern. I don't want my 7 to be a George Linder. That is my concern.
Is it because of style of batting, or is it because of strike? Is it because they're not good batters, or is it because of the strike rate issue?
It's a strike rate issue. It is a strike rate issue. I want it to be. It's got to be Patolano, Jonathan Ferreira. It's got to be people like that. Maybe Fian Lipper comes back. I don't think he will, but that kind of a player. Yeah, I know that. I know he's not coming back, but I'm saying that kind of an individual. I want my number 7 to be able to clear the boundary. If I was picking this team, I would have picked George over Muthusamy, and I would have been able to tell. I would have been able to tell whether George can do that job. I'm not sure. One game is not. It's not. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me.
Yeah.
I've never been. I love Sen, but I've never been convinced of Sen in T20 cricket. I understand why, but I just don't understand this.
He did say that the number 7 role needs to be someone who is like a Maxwell, right? If you saw what Australia did to us, right?
I agree with that, but Sen is not that guy. Sen is not.
Obviously, we know we understand that. We know that, right? And we've always said Sen can't bat at 7, right? He's an 8 going down, right? Even at 8, if I gave him 9 balls, I'm expecting him to get close to 20. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think Sen can do that. But his batting has improved and is one of the stronger batting all-rounders we have in the country. The problem with our all-rounders is they're not power hitters. And even with Donano, we're putting him in there largely because he can hit a 6. But from at an international level, we don't know, right? He doesn't even do it for the MI Cape Town. That for me is the issue with it, right? The only other person who can be a power hitter and an all-round option is the brother in the UK, Donovan Ferreira. But the question for me is Aiden not enough of a bowler for us to carry another batter and shift everyone down?
Yeah, we saw this.
So for Aiden to bowl 4 overs, I say no, and I can see Shukri saying no because we're not carrying an extra batter. And that's the question. It's literally, I think our question is around that axis. Yes, the batters need to bat well and get into form, but the question is around who sits at 7. The Don himself can also go for runs, but you need to be comfortable with him as an option, as a bowling option. And I'm not sure you are. Same thing with Aiden. He's not even comfortable with himself, bowling himself 4 overs as an off spinner. And that's where we find ourselves. Where are those players who can do a job with the ball and also hit the ball out the ground consistently in a way that we can rely on them? We don't have the Romario Shepherds. We don't have the Maxis of the world. We don't have, I would assume, a Ben Stokes. If Ben Stokes played for England, he's batting at 7, right? He might even bat into the top 6 to give them something extra, right? We don't have those players. You don't have a Jadeja. We don't have that style of player who can come in there and, dominate. And to a certain extent, you're giving George a chance because George has shown it in the SA20 in glimpses. And you're also giving Sen a chance to do that. And I think the game on Saturday was more of an indictment on Sen and a test for him to see if he can do it. But I think we all know that he can't. So maybe in England, it'll be George at 7. And then you figure out what your top 6 looks like, right? Because David Miller comes back into this top 6 in England, and you have yourselves a pretty formidable team, even with George Linder at 7, right? So for me, that's the question I have, is I don't think we have that profile of player. And batting at 7 and 6, you need to be able to strike above 150 upwards. Nobody does that in South Africa. Which is why the idea of having Luandre go to 6 is a good thing, because he has that ability. The only problem is, if we lose a wicket, he's in with another guy who he has to carry. And that's the issue that you had with the Proteas when they kept on losing wickets, is that we are leaving runs at the table because we don't have the right personnel in there from a batting perspective. Because I know Shooks wants 4 out-and-out bowlers, and then number 5 can be the all-rounder that you're looking for. And then you have 6 batters, right? And so that's the thing about that game. That game was lost there. Glenn Maxwell's their number 7. He scored runs there. Our number 7 didn't score runs. And this is where we ended up. And that's how we are losing T20 games throughout. Our top order is done. Like Deva Brev has papered over so many cracks. And it's fine. He did well. He carried the team, because some days the team will carry him. And we're happy for that. It's just that, and he kept us in the game. It's just that 6, 7, 8, you are unsure. Very, very unsure. Obviously, we'll sort out 6 because Miller comes back. 7 and 8, fine. Corbin at 8, happy. Got no issues. It's 7. And that's where, yeah. And so and like I say this, the SA20 auctions in the next month. I don't know how guys are going to prove to us. Maybe ask your friend to take YouTube videos of you, tonking balls into the street at Caller Drive, into the river their Henops River there behind Centurion into the railway
The railway stand
at Newlands. Yeah, like guys, Dan Khalim, Oaks, like that's what we want. We don't want traditional batters anymore. We want C-ball, hit ball, baseball players, right? George Linder's the incumbent right now, and he deserves the job, and he must continue. But the role has changed, and so we need guys who can adapt to that. And so, yeah, send through videos. It's actually, yeah, send your videos. If you think I'm not talking about you and you deserve it, send your videos. I'll play it. We'll play it here, and we'll ask the community. Send your videos. Let's see. I don't think we have that type of player. I'm very worried. Yeah, but anyway, let's move that aside. We've got big fish to fry. So the Proteas are playing the Australians in an ODI series, in a 3-match one. ODI series starting this week. The squad is as follows. Tim, you okay there?
You paused, so everything just sort of, but we're back now, so it's
Okay,
all right.
cool.
So no
problem.
Yeah,
but I'm going on here. StreamYard's got us covered. So here's the ODI squad. Temba Bavuma comes in as captain, Corbin Bosch, Matthew Bretsky, Deva Brevis, Nandre Berger, Tony DeZorzi, Eden Markram, Senram Muchisami, Kesha Maharaj, Vian Mulder, Lungin Giti, Luandre Pretorius, Kahisura Bada, Ryan Rickleton, Tristan Stubbs, Brendan Subrian, and the latest addition, he was added this morning, Gwena Mapaka was told he's staying. So you've got that. Add Gwena to this team. So now, Tim, 3 spinners, lots of batters. Some guys might not even play. What we know is your top 3 is Aiden, Ricks, and Temba at 3. I will then say to you, fill in the gaps.
Britsky 4.
So Britsky at 4.
Britsky 4. Brevis at 5. Stubbs at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the top 6. Then your Fians. Then Keshav. And then your pace bowlers. Abada, TD, Berger. So 11? Yeah, I think it's 11. Yeah.
Yeah. So Matthew Bretsky at 4. I've always thought he was a top order batter.
I think that 4 to 6 is interchangeable. That's why I sort of paused. I would you can have, for example, you could have Stubbs at 4 and Bretsky at 5 and
okay. I've got a controversial pick for you.
6. It's that 4, 5, and 6 to me is interchangeable. It's not locked in, but it's those 3 players.
I'd like to add a player in there and take out one. I think what we might see is Aiden 1, Ricks 2, Timber 3, Stubbs at 4, Brevis 5, Luandre 6. And then we can talk about the Vians of the world and the bowlers. I think that's the batting lineup we're gonna be seeing. I think Luandre is gonna get an opportunity in ODI. He's gonna make his debut in the first match. And I see Matthew Bretsky. I just don't know what the plan is for Bretsky and DeZorzi if they can't bat in the top 3. I do think you might want to rest an Aiden or a Temba, but I don't see Matthew or Tony playing. I think Matthew might play if you want to play around with the top 4, but I think Stubbs at 6 is too low for him for the quality of batter that he is and the senior nature that he is. I think Stubbs needs to bat at 4 and make it his own if Aiden's going to move away. Aiden's enjoyed batting at 4, scoring lots of runs there, but obviously now that's changed. And so you have a void there. And I think the void can be filled by Stubbs. And then you have Brevis and Luandre. It makes your lower middle order very young, but you got to give guys a chance.
Well, Timber did touch on it in the press conference. He did sort of say the openers are Aiden and Ricks, but he did kind of say He sort of said that they're on parole, as in it's not quite working. It's what we want to go forward with, but it's not. They're not quite clicking together. So that might change. Not this series, but that might change for England. That's just one.
What
to
does
keep
it
an eye
mean
on.
that they're not quite clicking together?
No. I'm taking what he's said, and I'm interpreting what he's saying. I'm paraphrasing. He said, "For now, something along that. For now, we believe that Aiden and Rex are better suited as openers." That to me says, "For now," which means potentially come
I don't think that
England
means for
series.
now.
That might change.
I don't think it means for now. I think, guys, we need to get comfortable with Aiden and Rick's batting at 1 and 2. It's actually being stubborn about Vian batting at 3. And I think that's what's going to stay. But yeah. Do you think from a bowling perspective, Tim? So if you look at the squad, right, you've obviously got Corbin, you've got Vian. Do you think, Corbin can't bat at 7, but I think Corbin will be considered more of like a 8 to 10 option, another bowler to come in that bats at 8, because obviously Vian I think is locked in number 7. But then the question is, what's the fascination with Sen and Pren?
Yeah, I don't know. I've got to be honest. I'd love Predolin to get a game. I really would love him to get a game. But the fact that Keshav didn't get a game in the T20s, and as in he wasn't involved, he has publicly said that he wants to be involved in the T20 setup. It's not like he's retired, so he's very much, in terms of his thinking, very much a part of that setup. So with that in mind, I would like to see Predolin get a game at some point. I just don't think it will be tomorrow morning. Then it's about options, isn't it? It's about options.
Yes.
I don't necessarily mind it, but it's about. I mean, I'd love Kesh to go on for another 5 years, but reality is not. In reality, I'd be surprised if he's there in 2 years from now. So it's just about future proofing. Predolin is a very similar type of bowler. I'd love him to get a game. But unlike Keshav, you won't get any runs from him. He's going to be batting it. His primary is going to be holding up an end, getting wickets if he can.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing about this, is that obviously if they batted as good as a George Linder, they'd be considered higher up the order.
Yeah. And the Corbin one is an interesting one. I went with it because I don't want to give too much to the youngsters early on. The T20s doesn't matter so much. I actually now want to, when possible, lean on the experience, lean on the Lungis, lean on the Rabadas, lean on the Burgers for now. I want to give them a proper run in. And then we can interchange them as the series goes on. Particularly if we win the first 2, then we could change up things and do something experimental.
Yeah, no. Yes, I think that's fair. That's fair. And yeah, look, it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Obviously we've got the first T20 happening tomorrow morning at 6:30. And then and that's in Cairns, and then you've got two more T20s, one on Friday morning in Mackay. Oh my word. They're taking us to weird places. And then another one on Sunday. Yeah.
Northern Territory, boy. All of it.
The Northern Territories, yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Also, with all the batters that they're taking, because there's about 17 names here. And not everyone's going to get a a full-on bat. Luandre might not get a full-on bat. Tony DeZorzi might not even get a full-on bat. I don't know, unless if a situation where if Timber scores 100 in the first game, he'll sit out the other 2 games and give someone else a chance. But I'm really interested to see how they interchange this batting lineup, because it doesn't make sense to carry guys who are just going to take guys from South Africa who are going to take drinks. I understand the Luandre of it all because he needs the experience and he needs to be in the setup, right? But like a Tony or even but like a Tony, like I sit there going, I don't think he's going to get a game. Especially with this idea that the top 3 are sorted.
If this was a 5-match series, it would make sense, because you'd go, Tony's going to play at some point. 5 matches, he's definitely going to play a couple of games. You would think. The three games, you're right. It is a little bit odd, because let's just say he wasn't there. We've got a lot of opening options there. We've got 4 openers without including Tony. So his inclusion is a bit odd. We know his quality. We know this is his best format. What do we need to see from him? What I would have actually said, come to England. You can rest this one out, and you'll play the one in England. But
well, the other thing is they probably took him to, because the way this is set up, we play England the 2nd of September, and our last game is this Sunday, the 24th, right? So there's about 8 days in order to do it, and I don't think going to South Africa would make sense for the team. So if effectively, they fly from Australia to England, they're acclimatized for the week, and you're there. So maybe Tony will get games, and we have to look at it as a 6-game ODI series with England in between, rather than 3 and 3, rather than 3 and then a new set of 3. So if this is the case, then he's gonna get some games potentially either in Australia early on, or he's gonna get them in England.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, Tim. Is there anybody in Australia that you're worried about?
Just the entire nation. Just the entire. I'm looking at the 11 now. No, I've got to be honest. That potential bowling lineup is very weak. Yes. If I'm looking at it from that point of view, very, very weak. Marnus will come back. Travis Head. Look, Travis Head is always dangerous. He didn't do anything in the T20s, but he's always dangerous. No, nobody fears me. That's the thing.
It's Travis, Cam Green, and Josh Inglis. Those are the guys I'm worried about. Outside of that, from a bowling perspective, Josh Hazelwood's bowled well. Would be interested to see how Nathan Ellis does it. And but this is much more of a bit. If we don't the only reason why we don't win this is if our batters really are all full. And this 2-month break was a real 2-month break, and they need to be back on thingy. They take a very long time to get back to form. But I look at this going, it's like the tests, but a weaker side. And you don't have Stock, Hazelwood, and Cummins.
Or Steve Smith, which is, and that's huge. That's huge. We are on paper much the stronger, but
side.
But just like the rugby, that's irrelevant.
Don't underestimate. Yes. It's been a tough week for South Africa, but hopefully tomorrow the Proteas can redeem the pride of the nation, the dignity of the nation, and hopefully by Friday we'll do that again, and then Saturday the Boks will do their thing. That brings us to the end of our show. Remember, you can follow us on X as well as like and subscribe on YouTube. We're also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at Full Quarter Pod. And you can also buy some coffee. And please do buy some coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Full Quarter Pod. And you can email us at sacricketpod@gmail.com. We'll have another episode later this week. So if you thought this was too short, we'll be having another episode later this week. So please do tune in, and also like and subscribe, and you'll be able to get all of those, all the notifications when we do go live. It hasn't been a great tour for the T20s. Hopefully it'll be an amazing tour from an ODI perspective for the Proteas. Good luck to the Proteas tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. start, and hopefully they'll be able to come out with a win. But for myself and Tim, it's goodbye and le sale kakagiso.